Hey guys, Chris McCullough here for intermediate typography for the OPS program in CBU. Um, this is my second class with Professor Garrison. I had her for the first typography class, and she's a really great professor, really helpful, helps you get through everything you need to, and gives really good feedback. So, just a little shout out to her. I want to thank her for all the help. Hopefully you guys use her to your advantage like I do. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and get to the meat of this and the first project. So, my first project, I wanted to go with a handwritten feeling. Um, so I went and I searched around. I ended up on Behance, which is like Adobe's showcasing for projects. So I went on there and I found an artist, a designer who does a lot of handwritten stuff. So this is some of his work. He's really good at what he does, um, and I figured I would go ahead and take a try, try it out. So I had to figure out a quote to pick. So I ended up going with the quote "F8 and be there," which is a photography quote. Not sure who it comes from. A professor that I had a few years ago always used to put it at the bottom of any paper he passed out. Um, but it's a really, really awesome quote. Essentially, it means, set your camera to f8, which is one of the aperture settings, and don't worry about it. Just be in the moment. Take the pictures you need to take while you're there. Get everything you can instead of worrying so much about your settings that you might miss the moment. You might miss what you're there for if you're so buried into what your settings need to be. So I always like that, and I figured I would use it for a project. So ended up using it on this one. So that was my basis. Never done hand lettering before, so I figured I'd give it a try. I went and bought some pens, and this was my first attempt. Um, I decided I'd tried using a few different fonts, font faces. So I tried that out. Just added some little embellishments here and there. On the word there, I tried making it look like a beach with a moonlight or a dark sky, and some little palm trees and whatnot. And if you look up in the top corner, there's the aperture ring. That's what's inside of a lens, and that's what you're setting to f8. It only lets a certain amount of light in, but that's a pretty standard setting to get a good picture. So um, I wanted to bring that element into the project. So this was my first attempt, and that was actually hand drawn. So um, after that, I figured I'd bring it into Illustrator and make my attempt there. So this was my first attempt in Illustrator. Very rough. Um, Again, tried bringing in the sand and the dark sky, but didn't work the way I wanted it to. So this was my attempt at that. For some reason, I added a border on this. Not sure why, but I quickly got rid of that. It wasn't the feeling I was looking for. Um, so this was the one I turned in for week one, and from there I knew I had a lot of work, but wasn't sure what to do. So this was the second attempt. So I brought it in and I added an old school retro-ish, like 90s-ish camera, and I changed the font faces on the quote to fit my needs a little better to give me the feeling I was looking for. Added a background, a texture for the background. I think it might be a paper towel texture, but I just thought it looked cool. So and it gave the feeling that I was looking for, almost like a burlap type feeling, but not as strong as burlap. Um, Went with a teal, brown, and orange color scheme to kind of tie it all together, and a script on and a sans serif font for there with two serif fonts for the F8 and B. So that was my first attempt. And then I figured I would take it into a second attempt. So this was my next attempt. I added some textures to the camera and the lettering. Figured that would give it a more full effect. And I actually changed the word "and" to the same font as there. But I didn't like the way it felt. Neither did the professor. She felt that it needed to be script still. So for my last attempt, I changed it back to script. This is my last attempt. I actually bolded B to where it felt. It gave it bolding the word B gave it more of a implanted feeling in the quote, like it felt like it should be there. And I added some orange strokes to the hand grip and the lens, the outer lens ring, to kind of tie in the color of the word B. I also added a piece of glass over the viewfinder so it felt more realistic than just a hole in the camera. So yeah, there's my project one. Hope you guys like it. Let me know. Have a good day.